Hello and happy Friday. I hope you're doing really well. Akila wants to say hi. Hi, Kiki. Hi, Akila. Hi, Bubba. I love speaking to her like a baby. It makes me feel good. It gives me so much joy because I know how ridiculous I sound. Right, Bubba? But I don't care. What about you? Who else talks to... Come over here. Who else talks to their doggy like a baby? Come here, Bubba. Come here, love. Come here. Who else talks to their lovely doggy like a baby? Hi, lovey. Oh, she brings me so much joy. She hugs me. She hugs me. Oh, I love it. Do you get hugs from your dogs too? Oh, Tina, you do too. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Hi, good to see you on here. Let me wave to you. Oh, and Sally, Nurse Sally. Hi. Hi. Okay, so happy Friday. I am, as usual, come on. I don't have a whole lot of meditated thoughts, but I usually try to talk about what's coming up, what has come up this past week in adoption. So, first, I want to say happy National Adoption Awareness Month. My smiley face has rubbed off, but if you saw people on Facebook yesterday with smiley faces on their hands, that's what it meant. It was World Adoption Day yesterday, a day where we kind of just celebrate how families are brought together through adoption and also the complexities of adoption. So, yeah, so that was yesterday. And just this whole month, if you follow, and I encourage you to, if you are anywhere on your adoption journey, pre-post or anywhere in between, to follow some other adoption voices that you don't otherwise follow. So another member of the triad, perhaps, another birth mom, another adoptee. I have had a ton of trolling and angry people on my pages lately, of which I have no problem hiding or deleting or blocking. Not because I don't think it's important to hear all voices. I do. And I think there's a time and a place. So if you're one of those people that are listening right now that are like, you blocked me, you censored me. Yep, I did, because it's my page. And I don't want the negativity around any of my, the things that I'm posting, especially when it comes to celebrating families that have formed through adoption. I think there's a time and a place to educate and to rain on someone's joy is not the time or the place. I think that these babies deserve, no matter what you think of adoption, these babies deserve the joy of coming into this world. You, or I'm just talking to the haters out there, cannot be the judge of why a woman made the choice that she did. I understand that there has been some foul play or unethical things that happen. And there's also just unfortunate circumstances where an expectant mother has chosen these beautiful people to adopt her baby and love on her baby and parent her baby. And we need to respect that and celebrate that when it's appropriate to celebrate, educate when it's appropriate to educate. And so if you are a hater on one of my pages, bye-bye. No room for it. There's way too much hate in this world for me to let another one on my own pages. I seek to educate and also spread joy. That said, we absolutely have to learn from all sides of the triad. And usually when we're triggered, we need to dig a little bit deeper as to why. So if anyone has anything they want to comment about around that, I welcome it. Okay. Another thing I wanted to bring up is I wrote down getting situations sent from agencies. So what happens is every week during our Monday meetings, our team meetings, I ask, what are people talking about online? What are people talking about your clients? What kind of questions did you get this week? And that's where I kind of loosely come up with what I'm going to talk about today, but not until I get on. So I wrote getting situations sent from agencies. So I guess one of the things that I'll tell you is that as consultants, and I think this is the same for all consultants, one of the pros, one of the advantages of working with a consultant is our wide network. And some consultants have wider networks than others. We are very fortunate. We have a wide network. And what that usually equates to is more situations seen by our clients, by our families. How does that work? So an attorney or an agency may reach out to me, forward me a situation, or make a phone call to me and say, hey, Becca, I have this expectant mama. She's wanting to make an adoption plan. Here's what she is looking for, and here's what I know about her. Do you have any families? From there, I will do a filter out of all my home study ready families and send it out to those people who fit her criteria, and they fit her criteria and she fits their criteria. Then I send it out. We have had well over 120 of those already sent to us this year, and our families have matched with about 20% of them. So many times consultants will reach out to agencies will reach out to multiple consultants that they have relationships with, and some of them have their favorites that they only send to that consultant, or at least send to that consultant first. So that is definitely a huge advantage working with a consultant. Why we have wait lists. Evidently, somebody asked about that. So let me talk to you about that. And by the way, at this juncture right now, we do not have any wait lists. But why we have a wait list, or why an agency may have a wait list. So agencies, as well as us, never want to have an overwhelming amount of one type of person. Meaning, if we have, and I would say the majority of people who adopt are white couples, right? And agencies can be overwhelmed by the number of white couples they have. And so maybe they say, we need more same-sex couples. We need more single people. We need more Black couples. We need any diversity. And that's the same for us. And because they want to have a wide variety of choices for an expectant mom to choose from. And we want to be able to have enough places for our families to apply to as far as agencies are concerned. So and when an agency reaches out to us. So if we have way too many single moms and we're seeing they're not really getting chosen, or way too many lesbian couples, or we don't take white couples really that are not open to exposures, but if we did, we just have to make sure that we have enough of all kinds of families that we can meet the needs of the agencies so that you feel like we're serving you. I hope that makes sense. So right now we don't have any wait lists, and I do want to announce that we are, for the first time in like 2 years, taking on private clients from New York families, as well as single women and people with more than 2 kids. We still aren't able to take couples who are both over 50, but everybody else we have space for right now. So now is the time, because we will most likely be closing that up again. So definitely book a consult with us to find out more. Openness and visits. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because that can feel really scary. And I ask of everybody who goes through the adoption. I don't know if you guys hear my dog, but she is chomping away at this bone, making all sorts of noises. Akila, I don't know if you can see on Instagram. I don't think so. Anyway, she's like, what? Who? Me? Um, you need to start the adoption journey. Everybody starts with in a certain space, right? Knowing what you know, not knowing what you don't know, having certain criteria for yourself based on the knowledge that you have at the time that you start. What I am asking you to do, if you are entering into the world of adoption, is to have an open heart and have an open mind. Because hopefully you are going to continue to be educated as you go through the process. And as you learn more, you might be open to more. You might not, and that's okay too. But I want you to go in with no absolutes. No absolutes. Because if you go in with absolutes, there may be some, but on a whole, try to be as open as possible. You don't want to be so closed off that you never open up to the possibility of the perfect match for you. I can't tell you how many people come in thinking they are not open to XYZ, and that's the baby that they adopt. And they know it's the perfect choice for them. So you've got to have an open heart and an open mind. As far as openness goes, a lot of people feel like, because you have to be open to some capacity in order to adopt anymore, there really isn't such a thing as closed adoptions. Period. The end. If you only want a closed adoption, please don't go through the adoption process. It's not for you. Try a different route. I feel confident in saying that. A lot of people start with the idea that they could be comfortable with letters and pictures sent unidentified through the agency. And that's a very fine and healthy place to start. I will tell you that most cases we are seeing is at least direct texting, and many expectant moms are requesting yearly visits. That feels super scary. Again, start with an open heart and open mind, and keep in mind that part of the reason you're so scared is because you don't know who you are even talking about at this point. You've not read about an expectant mom. You've never met her. You haven't seen what she looks like. You don't know what her background is or how safe she is, all of those things. So how could you possibly make a decision on that level of openness? So by saying to yourself, I might be open to that, once I meet her, once we establish boundaries, once we get to know each other and build that trust, that's where I would love for every person to be. It can be the healthiest way for everybody involved, and it can be such a beautiful thing. And at the same time, I don't ever want you to commit to something that you can't follow through with. So one thing I will say is that a lot of agencies will have you sign something that says, I am committing to yearly visits. And I have a problem with a lot of the wording, so I would push back a little bit and say, listen, that's my intent. I am open to visits. If you are, you wouldn't even get this far if you weren't. But I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow, let alone the next year and the next year and the next year for the next 18 years. What I can say is that I am open to a fully open adoption with visits, and our intent is yearly visits where we can do that. And I think that's a way more comfortable and way more reasonable thing to ask of somebody to sign. And I know some people are really adamant about, well, if I'm signing this agreement, legal or not, I want to follow through. And if I don't know if I can follow through, because who really does, I don't want to sign it with these words. So can we alter it a little bit? That's what I would suggest. Again, I know it feels scary. Just be open to the chance that you can grow into that. And trust me, it can be such a beautiful thing. All right. I had a couple other things on my list, but I'm tired of talking today. I am going to wish you a good weekend. I don't think anybody had any questions, but if anybody does have questions, feel free to DM me, slide into my DMs, and ask away. I will do my best to answer. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about next time, but we'll talk about vetting situations and how to do that. I keep getting this thumbs up thing on my Facebook page. All right, have a great weekend, you guys. I know it's getting colder here. I have leaves all over my yard. It's time to do a little cleaning. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep moving forward on your adoption roadmap, no matter where you are in your journey, because it is a journey. And if you veer off, that's okay. Just come right back on and keep moving forward. Have a great week, guys.